Hello gardeners, welcome to the Tailored Acres YouTube channel. I'm Taylor and I garden in Wisconsin, Zone 4B. In this video, I am going to go over how I prune my hydrangea bushes. Now, I have a few different varieties, all of which, three of which are Panicle Hydrangeas, and I have one smooth hydrangea, but I'm going to use pretty much the same process on all of them. So this one behind me, and there's one in the back as well, that they're kind of similar to Pinky Winky, but a little bit different. So they're that lace cap hydrangea, but they're a Panicle Hydrangea. So I have been pruning those for 4 years now, and I just love the way that they grow after you prune them. So I'll give you the details next. In this video, I am going to prune 4 different hydrangea bushes. The first one is a Panicle Hydrangea that's just getting its normal yearly cut. The second one is a Limelight Hydrangea that I planted last year, and I'm going to be doing more of a shaping cut on that one. The third one is a smooth hydrangea that I planted last year, and the fourth one is a Panicle Hydrangea that was also here when I moved in, and it needs a major shaping job. So that one is going to be interesting. So we'll get into it now. Unfortunately, my mic died, so some of these clips will have a voiceover. Before you start hacking away at your hydrangea, be sure you know what type it is. There are some that if you prune them in midwinter, like I am doing here with my Panicle Hydrangeas, that they won't send out blooms the next year because they prep those in the fall. So although you won't kill the plant, you just may not have blooms if you prune it at the wrong time. That's kind of the worst that would happen to those if you don't know what kind you have. When I first started mine, I didn't know what kind mine were either. I'm going to show you what it looks like from what you pruned the previous year. So you can see all of this that you can see up here is new growth. This guy just goes to town. So if you look in here though, you can see this color difference. So this older wood is what I pruned back to last year. So all of these coming off are new growth. So here's a good example too. So last year I pruned it to right here, and it sends up 2 new ones to go in its place. So hopefully that gives you a good visual of what's going to happen from the shape that you prune this down into. There are a few different methods in pruning. If you are trying to get it bigger or are happy with the shape, you can always just prune off these spent blooms. Now that will make your structure a lot bigger, and it might be a little bit weaker. So the farther you're going to prune it back, and typical advice is about by 1/3 to a half maximum. I have pruned these back even farther just because they are so big, and I don't want them to be too out of control. This thing is like 7 feet tall at least, which is so fun, and it's a really great anchor piece here. So looking at this guy here in its full form, so you can see there's some main branches coming up, and then in the past I've been pruning it to about here to keep this nice shape. So all of these are going to come off. Hopefully that helps you visualize what I'm going to do here. The best pruning cuts are going to be right above these set of nodes here. So you're going to want to just do it at a little bit of an angle is best so that the water runs off it. Now that's not super important. It will survive, and just about anything you do to these hydrangeas, they will survive. They're fighters. So don't be too nervous about pruning it. You can't screw it up too bad. So above here, now this isn't like the biggest deal. You can see last year I just took some clippers to it. I didn't look at nodes or anything. And what happens is you'll just have this a little bit longer of a lead from where your branches come out, which isn't the biggest deal because these things get covered in leaves and you can't see it anyway. And it really had no impact on the overall health. I'm going to walk through the equipment that I used for pruning my bushes here. So this first one is loppers, and that is going to be used for any really big branches you're removing. You probably won't need those. The next one is just a set of bypass pruners. I have Falcos that I just got. They're amazing. And then these are hedge shears, and that has been my favorite tool to use because mine are so big and there's so many branches to cut off. So it makes quick work of it. And you could also do this and then go back through with your pruners to clean up all the cuts and get them back to the node if that's something that is important to you. So I am just gonna go for it here. I try to kind of keep the branches in general in a rounded shape overall. So I just kind of go in here. This is quite forceful. And I'm just going to make my way around the bush doing this. So I kind of want to clip the bottom branches shorter, and then the top ones are going to be a little bit longer. That's the general shape that I'm going for here. You'll be able to see probably in a little bit here, but the birds love this hydrangea bush. They always have bird nests in here and are in and out all summer long. So I try to leave those if they come back. I'm not super sure what kind of birds they were this year. We've had a variety of different ones. So it's nice to be able to provide that habitat because the birds are going to eat your bugs for you. I'm just making my way around the bush here. You may want to wear safety glasses when you do this. There is some debris in here, and the way I'm cutting these is quite violent. So just make sure that you're being safe. While you're pruning, make sure that you take a step back every once in a while too to get the overall picture of where you're at, because once you cut something, you're not going to be able to put it back on. So start a little bit longer than you think you're going to need and then cut it back from there. These ones I know pretty well where I'm going for, so I didn't use that, but on my one in the back, I'm definitely going to be taking lots of steps back because I'm doing a huge prune on that one. All right, I have my initial prune completed on this, and the shape is looking pretty good. So from here, I'm going to go back through and shorten any that need to get shorter. I'm going to thin out any spindly looking branches, any branches that are crossing, or if it's a really dense section. Just want to make sure that all of these have room to breathe because they grow like crazy, as you see. This guy is in a really good place for the spring now. We'll have the growth more in check, and the shape will be what I am looking for. And I see we have a little visitor in the window. I'm going to let him out here so he can join us. My next hydrangea to prune is this Limelight Hydrangea. I bought this last year and it is a little bit spindly. There are some more major branches at the bottom, but some of the growth was kind of weird this year and floppy out the backside and a bit curved. So I am going to cut this pretty severely. I want this to have a more upright shape and to have those bigger main branches at the bottom. So I'm going to cut out quite a bit of this one. I'm going to make my plan here on which ones I'm going to cut out because once you cut, you can't go back. So make sure that you have a good plan on the ones that you're going to take out and the structure that you're looking to keep and the structure that you're looking to have in the future to set yourself up for that by pruning it the correct way. This is my smooth hydrangea. It's Invincible Ruby, and I got it last year. The blooms are absolutely beautiful on this one, and I cut them all off to dry inside. So they do have some cut already to them, so I'm just going to kind of clean them up here a little bit. And then there is some spindly growth at the bottom that I'm also going to take out so that I'm just leaving the nice looking branches in here on this one. Now it's time for the big prune job. So this bad boy is the one that is totally out of control. I do walk in between the house and the hydrangea, mostly with the hose to water. I have a planter in that window box in there. So this one needs a huge shaping pruning. So I am really going to take after this one. My process on this one is going to be making those big shaping cuts first so that I can get the shape that I want, and then I'll kind of clean up everything from there. So I'm starting in the area that needs the most help here. I did prune these hydrangeas the first year pretty heavily, and I did make some of these cuts, and it really didn't seem to have an impact on them. This one doesn't get as much sun as the one in front, so it may take a little bit longer for it to totally bounce back after this. There is a chance that I might not get blooms this year, but I know that going into it, and I really do not like the shape of this one right now, so it's worth it to me to maybe have some impact to the way the plant looks for a year and then set it up for success in the shape that I want it to be in the future. I'm going to finish this with just going through and doing some fine tuning on the pruning cuts that I made, cleaning up any spindly things, but I'm super happy with how this one turned out. Super windy out now, but I hope this gives you some inspiration and courage to prune your hydrangeas. They're going to be so much happier and healthier if you do this, and you'll be happy that it's done come spring and you can just enjoy your hydrangeas. So thank you for joining, and take care.